Welcome to Epic Court Encounters. All right, today we have a defendant who's not happy about a traffic stop, and they bringing all that energy to the court. Let's go in and check it out. Let's go.
Ms. House, please unmute yourself. There we go. This is 25 BE02536. The citation was issued on the 17th day of May at about 5:16 in the PM in the area of Berkeley near Oxford and Stanford Streets. You were cited for disobey a stop sign. You have three options. You can admit or deny responsibility, or you can admit responsibility with an explanation. How do you wish to proceed?
Not guilty.
That wasn't one of the options, but put this down as denying responsibility. If you raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
I do.
The officer will testify first, please.
All right, magistrate, on 5/17/25 of this year, approximately 5:16 p.m., I was just conducting neighborhood patrols down the street of Stanford when I came across Oxford. I observed a 2018 Kia Sportage, red in color, make no attempt to stop at the stop sign that would be eastbound Oxford at Stanford. Went right through the stop sign in front of the patrol vehicle. I then made a traffic stop on the vehicle, observed the plate Boy John George 622, and made contact with the driver, Miss Emily House, I believe, if I mispronounced that name. Right then and there, spoke with the driver and alerted her to the reason for the stop, which was disobeyed the stop sign. As I came back with the citation, Miss House told the officer that she hopes I get shot today after presenting the citation. And I also have the patrol car video of that, or the dash cam, if you're interested in seeing that.
Ms. House, it's your turn.
Awesome. It was Berkeley Day garage sales, not the Berkeley one, but when Huntington Woods has theirs, Berkeley always has
Ma'am,
things.
I'd really like to know what happened.
That's why I'm explaining. It kind of shows how
Oxford and Stanford.
Oh yeah, I'm saying my part to how there was people blocking the driveway just a little bit before when I was driving. Like, it was pretty busy, and just at that little bit where the Stanford was, there were short shrubs, and the officer, I would say, was more than 2 streets, if not 2.5 streets back. I definitely stopped before, I guess not exactly at the stop sign. With the shrubs, I don't think he possibly saw that, but I slowed down. I guess it wasn't the absolute 3 seconds, but it was enough that I even remember looking left and right and then continued.
Did she just admit to running a stop sign?
I remember going 25, going halfway down the street, and then he turned. So that kind of shows how far back he was. And then we were talking, and he said, I ran the red light. I corrected him and said it was a stop sign. And then he walked away and came back with a ticket without any more explanation, to where I could talk and say, I kind of think you were wrong here. He was already holding the ticket in his hand, and I was upset, and I said that. I was very frustrated that I could not speak to him, and immediately on correcting him that it was a stop sign that we're talking about, not a stop light, I got issued a ticket, even though what he said was wrong. And this was my first offense ever.
No, ma'am, it was your first offense that you've ever been cited for.
I've never been pulled over. The only
That's what I
time
said.
was pulled over is when I was 16. When
if you listened to what I'd said, you wouldn't be contradicting me.
But being reminded to turn on the lights from turning onto Woodward is not doing anything wrong, because
So you have been stopped.
The lights were turned on.
So
like,
you have been
that's one
stopped.
small thing when I was 16. I'm 26 now, and there's been nothing for 10 years, while some people have issues back to back.
I thought she said that was her first stop.
I think that does say something, sir.
And some people tell policemen they hope they get shot today. I have never, ever heard of such egregious conduct by a driver.
Sometimes I thought it was very wrong that I wasn't able to say anything.
Unbelievable. You're trying to justify.
I think it's unbelievable that he said something wrong. I corrected him, then I don't get to say, I get slapped with a ticket for saying we're talking about a stop sign here. I don't
Got a
think that's
ticket?
fair either.
I'm going to stop a second because I want to deal with what you've said. You've talked about the area being pretty busy. You've talked
Prior,
about the fact.
earlier that day due
Listen
to the
ma'am,
garage
I'm
sales.
trying not to interrupt you. I would wish that you would at
But-
least comport yourself as an average courteous person.
Yes, and a courteous
You-
person to understand the situation, and the situation was busy prior due to the garage sales, and that's why I was in the area, because I just bought my house. I'm low income looking for items. I am setting the scene for why I was there, and I did not run the stoplight. This area was not busy.
There was no stop.
Things on the
light
side of
there.
the road.
You've told us that there was no stop sign light there. Now you're telling us that
He was saying it was a stop light. It is
you
not a
just did the
stoplight.
same thing.
She sure did.
You
But
just did
it's not-
exactly the same thing. Now you
But when you're
testified that the
talking and I
officer
said,
was.
hey, it's a stop
Stop
sign that
talking.
we're talking about.
Just- Would you slow down the mouth a bit?
There's nothing
Would
to
you
slow
stop
down.
talking,
You're trying
please?
to set the scene.
Stop
And you're
talking.
switching my words saying stops light. I corrected him. He walked away and
Would
got
you
hit.
stop talking, please?
Sure. I just think this is unfair.
Would you stop talking, please?
Okay.
You testified that the officer was 2 to 2.5 streets back, and therefore he couldn't see you. Okay. How is it that you could see him and he can't see you?
That is a great question.
Because I remember slowing down and looking left and right. If I fully missed the
That
stop
wasn't
sign,
the,
I
you're
wouldn't
not
be able to see him
responding to the
coming. He
question.
was so
I
far
said,
down.
if you can see him when he's 2.5 streets away, why is it that you think that he can't see you?
Because they had those nice smart shrubs all the way
Oh,
across.
we have one-way shrubs. Berkeley's got one-way shrubs. You can see through them, but nobody else can.
That's not what I'm saying, Your Honor.
It is
When
what
they're
you're saying.
short shrubs the size of, I was saying previously, when you slow down to the stop sign, which I did,
You slow down, okay.
We're looking at half shrubs. He does not see the car edging out. I'm saying I stopped slightly prior, edged out. There was no one there. The cop I saw was 2.5 blocks down. So then I went. I was still going 25. I'm looking at things on the side of the road. It's garage sale. I'm halfway down going the speed limit, and then he turns the corner. That kind of shows how far down he was. It is not one-way shrubs. It is the short shrubs to where you cannot see the Kia leaning up into. And I stopped prior, so I'm stopped. There's no one there. I go, and there's shrubs at least a good 1.5 feet after that, because they go all the way to the corner. And then when I was honestly, I thought he was going on to Woodward, and I'm like, you're pulling me over, but you were so far back. And then that's what, and then so after being so far back, and then he was wrong about the stoplight and stop sign, so I correct him with that, and I just get hit. It's like, when I don't think that's fair.
You know, we've heard this 3 times, but it
Yes.
doesn't get any better with retelling. It's just as
doesn't.
illogical every time.
That's what makes me so mad is I
I
remember.
know your lack of
that,
logic would be
looking
very
both ways,
frustrating, I
and then
imagine.
looking at this side again. So I at least stopped for 2 seconds.
You didn't stop for 2 seconds. You
I
just
did.
said
How do
you
you
slowed
look
down.
left, right, then
You
left again?
said
That's
you
at least
slowed
1.5.
down and looked both ways.
At this point, I'm sure she didn't come to a complete stop.
Yes,
You
and that's
said
what I
you
know. And I
slowed
looked
down
and I was
and
like, oh,
looked
he's
both
all the
ways.
way down there. I can go. Why would I
Did
pull
you
out?
hear
in front
what
of
you
the car?
said? Maybe you should listen to yourself. You
You
said
slowed
you
down
slowed
prior.
down and
I
looked
saw
both
that he was
ways.
all the way down there, and I went ahead. Maybe he saw me step on the gas because I was excited because I saw something on the side of the road that I can't even remember what it was. But I remember slowing down, looking this way, saw there was a cop, looking this way, continued going 25, and then made it halfway down the block.
And what you've described is what a driver's legal obligation is at a yield sign. Yield signs have 3 corners and they are yellow. Stop signs have 8 corners and they are red. When you come to a stop sign, it is not your obligation to slow down and look both ways. It is your legal obligation to stop.
And then you look
didn't.
both
You are
ways.
responsible. The fine is $150. If I could raise the fine, I would. If I could raise the points, I would, but that's not available.
Oh,
And
sounds
your
great.
conduct to the
Sounds great,
officer,
sir. So I guess
your
this meeting's
conduct to the
adjourned then.
officer
Sounds
is
good.
unbelievable.
I
That a
think you're
person who lives
unbelievable.
in Oakland County would talk the
Well, I
way
guess
you
I
do.
don't have to listen what you have to say since you weren't listening to my side.
Ma'am,
Sounds
I've
good,
listened to
sir.
what you've said at least 4 times.
You
have just
haven't, because
repeated
now,
the same
but I
illogical.
slowed down, I stopped, was able to look like there,
Now-
it wasn't like I was going this way and then while moving, I am halted, looked both ways and continued.
Oh, now she stops.
I don't get how he didn't like, can we see the clip? Can we see the clip from the car? What can he see being all the way down? That's what I'm more intrigued on, because I was shocked that he was pulling me over because I was all the way down.
You were shocked because he pulled you, and
Going
all the other
25.
people around you were worse.
I was cruising, listening to my music. So that's why I was like, oh, it's me. You're not going on to Woodward. And he's like,
cruising, listening to your music. You were looking for
yes, like I'm
garage
enjoying
sales.
I just babysat for 5 hours. I'm trying to relax in my Saturday, look for things for my house on the side of the road. That's why I'm like, it's me.
If I can interrupt you for just a
so
second.
mad. I remember stopping.
I want to
and then I
interrupt
was
you
like,
just
oh,
for a
there's
second, if
cop
you don't
all the way
mind.
down there. Let me look to my
This
left
house-
again.
Stop talking. I want to interrupt you for a second. If you give me a moment, you're responsible. Pay your ticket. We're done.
See ya.
I hope not.
Well, it looks to me that she won't listen to anybody in authority. And that's just my opinion, because I don't know her. I'm only going by how it looked in the hearing and what the officer said. You can put everything you would like to put in the comments and we'll discuss it there. I'm going to let this clip play out because the judge is going to express how he feels about all of that. So I hope you have a good day, evening, or night. See you around on the next one. Go ahead and finish this out and listen to him, and then it'll be done. All right? See ya.
At least if you're driving.
Sorry, magistrate.
I hope you get shot today. Can you imagine saying that to a human being?
Yeah, that was the demeanor from the get-go of the traffic stop. So that's why there was no further conversation.
Cheating.
It was also yelled multiple times as she was pulling away. That was the one. She just all the way to Woodward, just everything she could yell at me through the window. So she was a very pleasant person.
You know, I wish kids that are learning to drive could see and watch traffic court, because they would become more aware of what they're sharing the road with.
Absolutely. And the sad part is it could have went a totally different way. You know, she set the tone for that traffic stop.
Telling you that she hopes she gets shot, that's not a great start.
No, I would agree.
But to think those words about another human being, I hope you get shot. And she had no remorse whatsoever.
Oh, no. No apologies.
It was my intention, as I reviewed the tickets before I called the case, to give her an opportunity to apologize. I must have been on Space Mountain to think that was a possibility.
Yeah, unfortunately, from the interaction at the traffic stop, I kind of knew what was coming our way. So I apologize for not giving you that stuff.
No, I had read your remarks.
Okay.
So, wow. I don't think if I was Miss Joan DeSalvo that I'd want to be next. But unfortunately, somebody has to be. And we'll